I got a really negative comment of, how are you supposed to share like people getting healthy with you when you gained 100 pounds?
Mm.
And I was like, oh, I feel that. Like I got it in my DMs, felt it. I was like, that is mean. Oh, what's going on with her? But my first retaliation was not, let's think about what's going on in her world. It was like, I'm gonna take off my hoop earrings, like fire it up. But I have learned over the last 5 years that like I'm in control of my
Mm-hmm.
reactions and they get what they get from me based on what I give them. And so I
Mm-hmm.
didn't respond to that. And I
Mm-hmm.
took that in and I went, how is that? How is that kind of true? And if it's not kind of true, how is it false? And I really like dived into that comment and I reaffirmed what I thought about me, because if it matters what
Mm-hmm.
I think about me more
Yep.
than what others do.
Hello, beautiful people. Yes, I am talking to you. Are you ready to feel confident AF, free from the expectations and opinions of others, and create ultimate self-trust in who you are, what you say, and how you show up in every part of your life? If you answered a hell yes, I am, I guarantee this episode will empower you to be 100% yourself, 100% of the time, no shame or guilt needed. It's time for you to strut your stuff, express yourself with freedom, and fully embrace every freaking fabulous part of you. Let's dive in. Hello, my beautiful friends, and welcome to another episode of Road to Radical Visibility. My name is Rachel Freemon Sowers, also known as the Break Free Bitch, because I am so passionate about helping people in the LGBTQ plus and female communities break free from the toxic social constructs, expectations, and opinions of others so that they can live their life exactly the way that they want to. Oh my gosh, I have such a great guest today. But you're just going to have to wait a quick second while I introduce her. Today is going to be so fun. Okay, so, and I didn't ask my guest how to pronounce her last name, but I'm going for it. I'm just going to dive in. Okay, so my guest is Christina Struckmeyer. She is a social media content creator who has been sharing her life openly online for the last 5 years. Her audience has followed her through a total life transformation, chronically a dramatic weight loss, and leap from public relations professional to successful online and wellness coach. Throughout her online presence, she roots her content in empowerment, kindness, and advocacy, which I have witnessed, just FYI, sharing her approach and resources to special needs parenting, motherhood, mental health, healing, and relationships. Help me welcome our guest, Christina, today. Thank you so much for being here.
Hey everyone, thanks for having me, Rachel. I'm so excited.
Well, you guys miss a lot when we don't put the pre-show stuff on here, but we're laughing, trying to get this tech together. Christina's out on her farm. I'm in the middle of town. You know, we're just going for it. So today you won't know what you're going to get, but whatever it is going to be freaking inspiring and empowering to you. The first question I ask everyone, Christina, on the show is, what does radical visibility mean to you?
I love that question. And I love watching everybody's answers on your podcast. For me, radical responsibility, it means being seen and being shown, but more than
Mm-hmm.
that, kind of projecting yourself on like a big screen and
Mm-hmm.
allowing other people to, I guess, see themselves in you. And as a byproduct, feel seen themselves.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense, kind of like
Yes.
projecting outwardly yourself with the hopes that it helps others, feel less alone and more
Mm.
included.
Well, I don't know if you noticed, but you said visible, radical responsibility. And I seriously love that because it's radical visibility. But you're like, hey, I'm taking it up a notch and I'm saying,
Responsibility.
okay, that's going to be a thing. I'm
Radical
just going to,
visibility,
yeah,
responsibility. They're
yeah.
they're exchangeable.
Well, it really just goes to show to your inner way of being, of how you really feel it is your responsibility to put this stuff out there. Let's just be real,
Yeah.
as both of us as content creators, and we've watched each other for a while online. What the audience doesn't
Yeah.
know is, like, we've watched each other. I saw you quit your job and go into the health and wellness online coaching industry, and you've been at it. Like, you've been committed to this process. What was
Yeah.
the thing in that moment? Okay, so we know the story. A lot of times people quit their job. They're tired of it. They're tired of what they can't have. They want more, or they need a different kind of life for their family, right?
Yeah.
And so you decide that, but what made you decide to become radically visible in that process?
Yeah. Such a good question. And I loved my job. I used to be a public relations professional. I worked
Mm-hmm.
in-house marketing for nonprofits.
Mm.
And it was really, it gave me a lot, but I felt like I was always kind of doing things for other people, and my
Mm.
life kind of took the back seat.
Yep.
So I started doing health and wellness coaching, and part of that is being a little bit real online and sharing people what's possible.
Mm-hmm.
But at the beginning, I used to kind of keep my health stuff in a bubble and my personal life over here. And I actually
Mm.
didn't even share my motherhood or anything personal because I felt like it wasn't professional. And I
Mm.
also was scared of like judgment and what people might say about my personal life.
Anyone out there
I don't know
relate?
if you
I'm raising my hand.
link.
Totally relate to all of that.
So,
Yes.
but I hit a marker probably in 2019 where I was like, if I don't share all of me, people aren't going to understand the complete package of what's happening here.
Mm.
They aren't going to understand how much this has changed me, not just in my physical health, but like my mental health, my motherhood, my relationships. So I
Mm.
just ripped the band-aid off. My first thing was sharing my daughter, who is on the autism spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
I previously had held back. And I found that when I did that, the floodgates opened and all these parents started relating to
Mm.
me and asking me questions. And it was like a whole other facet of being online.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, and there is anyone who's been in the online world, is an entrepreneur online, or uses it to help market their business or share their life, knows that there's also always someone who will judge you. There will be always someone who doesn't agree with you. There will be people absolutely who support you and love you, right? And
Yeah.
it does take courage to put yourself out there, and then to do it even more than before and even more than before, right?
Yeah.
And to
Yeah.
allow yourself to follow your own path is huge.
Absolutely. And I've never regretted that step of being open, but I will say that my life has shifted a lot since that
Mm.
first time I opened my life online. I've gone through a divorce. I've gone through falling in love again, a remarriage, a new baby. I have a whole different, I live on a farm. I did not live on a farm 5 years ago. And so with the openness came a responsibility of like, I kind of had to share all of it, even like the bad and like the messy. And
Mm-hmm.
so it was figuring out, how do I do that authentically while keeping my mental health front and center and making sure I'm honoring
Mm-hmm.
myself and giving myself time to heal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's like knowing how much to show. People ask me all the time, Rachel, how can you be out there all the time? And I want to go to the next level with even being out there even more. But I'm not going to lie. I'll just be totally real. There is a little resistance in here. There's like,
Yeah.
like, then I have to keep it up. Then I have to do this thing. Then whatever. Right. And it's, how do we find our own way? And each one of us do that. And, we could talk about this topic for the whole rest of the show.
So,
And at the same time, though, I want to shift the conversation a little bit, because you have watched, I mean, let's talk about, let me get my brain calm down just for a second, because it's going all over the place. I would like to kind of
same.
dive into the online world, and when it comes to health and wellness and weight loss, and how, because for me, many of you have watched my online journey, my weight loss journey, And it's been remarkable, but also it is an up and down thing. I mean, I'm in the middle of
Yeah.
menopause. It's kicking my ass. I mean, bad. And like, then, there's things that happen that cause us to fluctuate. In the online world, if
Yeah.
you still, it is my belief, because I see it all the time. If you don't look this way, if you don't have this kind of body, if whatever, as much as body positivity as we have, we've been living a long time with a certain toxic social construct about what we should look like. And even
Oh, yeah.
now, I do see some women like me, but I see lots of times when it's not women like me. I've never been small, right? So we were talking a little bit about being more inclusive and how we help people move through some of those stuff, because it's not just about your body. It's your
Yeah.
emotional well-being. It's what you've been taught. It's those triggers. Talk to me a little bit about inclusivity.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, in my business, and I can only speak for myself,
Mm-hmm.
I firmly believe that healthy looks different on every person, and
Mm.
that your healthy space is a place where you're not limited, a place where you can do
Mm.
all the things that you need to do in your life, and you
Mm-hmm.
have joy in your heart, and you're able to do those things without limitations.
Mm.
And so when I talk to my clients, I work with them in the very beginning on just understanding like why they're wanting to shift and why they're wanting to
Mm-hmm.
change. Because the thing about it is, I want to lose 10 pounds and fit in a bikini. It's not going to knock the Doritos out of your hand. Like, you have to have a bigger why than I want to be in a bikini. And it's not to knock people who want to lose 10 to 15 pounds,
Right.
but like,
Right.
that's really not my clientele.
Mm-hmm.
The people that come to me, they're finding themselves that they're not keeping up with their kids in the playground. They're grandmas who want to be there for their grandkids. And so their health isn't going to look like a six pack,
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to have massive muscles. Maybe, maybe when they get to a healthy space, they might continue onward and build.
Mm-hmm.
But my job is to help them get from A to B and provide a roadmap.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we look at inclusivity, it's not like, look at me, like I am not a fitness model. I just need to keep it real. My healthy space is a size 8'10", size
Mm-hmm.
medium shirt. And I'm sure that if you were to poll the audience of online health and wellness coaches, they would say differently. They would say you have to walk the walk, talk the talk. I feel like being able to be in a healthy space where I'm not limited makes it more available to my clients to see themselves in me and trust me with such a precious thing as a health
Mm-hmm.
journey, which is so personal. Like you
Mm-hmm.
said, you go in
Mm-hmm.
through these fluxes, there's the messy middle part. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I share before and afters of my clients often, and they'll see like the before, which is like I'm not at my best, to the after, which is I'm actually feeling good and free, and I have found freedom. There's no middle messy spot that gets shown. And there's a lot of, I call it the Cupid shuffle. You're like
Mm-hmm.
to the left, to the left, to the right, to the right,
Yeah.
forward and back. It's not a straight line. And so I like to show the messy middle in my own journey, but I think it's important to include that and also show people that the end game is not perfection. It's a
Mm-hmm.
place where you can live and be in that body and feel your best.
Well, and I think that's true for a lot of different things, but I agree with you in this kind of weight loss industry, this kind of health and wellness industry. What it is like you start here and you end here. But the fact of the matter is that life is still occurring every single time. And what is needed during that time isn't like, just don't eat that thing. What is needed is, hey,
No.
I got you. I get it. There's no shaming.
Yeah.
There's no judgment. It's the same in the work I do, right? It's not from you go from suffering and to it. I'm going to just say it, even though it's cliche, it sounds like this enlightenment, this awareness that what you need and how you want to interact in the world. And in between there are ups and downs, and this is how life is. So the most
Yeah.
important thing is to find someone that's a fit, that won't shame you, that won't judge you, that will say, I got you. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And also
Mm-hmm.
unpeeling so many layers of things that got attached to them over the
Mm-hmm.
time that they were growing up, or The time that they were focusing on their health at a previous time was something else.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of my job is undoing a lot of diet toxicity, like
Mm-hmm.
just icky stuff that sticks to people. For instance, a lot of my clients, they stop eating. Like they won't
Mm-hmm.
eat. They'll hold off and restrict themselves to a place where their body is not doing well. And in my programs, like you have to eat. It's part, you need to eat to live. I don't know if everybody
Mm-hmm.
knows that, but like it's a part of you and your body is telling you things and you have to listen to it. And it's a guide. And
Mm-hmm.
so there's a lot of that undoing. There's a lot of undoing habits, which
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people get a lot of guilt when it comes to habits. Like, oh, I have stress eating, or I have late night binging, or I
Mm-hmm.
have this. All it is, if you take away all the judgment and the shame, the things you've piled onto it, is something you've done over the course of time that has become embedded into who you are and what you do. It's
Mm-hmm.
become habitual. And because habits can be learned, they can be unlearned and tweaked and renewed into a healthier space.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever I hear people are struggling with, like, for instance, stressing, that's a really common one that I deal with. It's not about saying, don't eat it, don't eat it. Like, 'cause it's like when you tell a toddler, don't touch the stove, they want to
Yeah.
touch the stove
Yeah.
immediately,
Yeah.
like immediately. It's about what is that giving you? Like, what are you getting from that behavior that's fueling you to keep doing it?
So I feel
And
like
how do
this,
you find that elsewhere?
right. I mean, like, I feel like this is a foundational thing that people struggle with. Um,
Yeah.
just naturally, right? And about like, what is that giving you? And really part of it too, for anyone listening, you are not, how do I say this? You're not doing this to yourself. Like I'm going to take a minute here to be like, I hear people all the time. Yesterday, 3 of my clients, I'm doing this to myself. Why can't I just this? My stuff is keeping me. I'm totally responsible. This is something I want to destigmatize because you are not solely responsible for what you do in this way because it's co-created. When you grew up all those years and were taught you deprive yourself more than you feed yourself, you
Yeah.
take away, you accept all responsibility for everyone else. If we can release some of that and not take all of it, you're not the one that does this to you. Just like Christina is saying, you've learned patterns. It is a pattern, and a pattern
Yeah.
can be undone. Just like, that is somewhere where I think it's so interesting how our businesses are so parallel and at the same time help people in different ways.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, a lot of my business is helping people learn how to sit with their feelings,
Mm.
and being okay with being human.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I actually went to a conference once where there was a leader talking, and he said, "What if you just talk to yourself as someone you had compassion for? Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to be stressed sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Some things are stressful. Like, if you were to
Mm-hmm.
just talk to yourself like a friend
Mm-hmm.
and work through those emotions are like a wave. They come in, they
Mm-hmm.
come out, usually a few seconds if you were just to feel it. The problem is in my business and so many, I mean, the whole world, we don't want to feel those things. And so we bury them. We bury them with alcohol, we bury them with food, we bury them with celebrity gossip, like insert like thing here.
Well, with
To
total
escape.
driving, like just this constant
Oh,
accomplishment, this constant need of
ah,
chaotic kind of, I've got to be doing the next thing. Yeah. Well, that went a
vice
whole.
here.
Yes. Over exercising, like getting, I mean, like
Yeah.
there's all the things. So then we come to this
Yep.
thing is, sorry, say it again.
So like gossip, focusing outward on
Mm-hmm.
I see it a lot on the internet chat boards and like Facebook comments. Like people are so angry and like they lash out at folks. And it's like, what's going on with you? What are the feelings that are going on with you that you're using this space to escape and push and like have that spot be so negative?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I know that very well. a lot of people enter into my comments. They enter in comments about this podcast, this show highlighting the LGBTQ plus community. And I did a episode a couple weeks ago, and really it is, I'll say it again here, is that if you look at something outside of yourself and you are extremely derogatory and you have very strong demeaning opinions and judgments about that thing, no matter what it is that is not about the thing, that is about you. And you need to look at that stuff within yourself, and you need to say, hey, listen, how do I learn to love these parts of myself? How do I learn to not judge myself, not shame myself, not have to deprive myself? What are the patterns that are there? And a lot of times people don't, they just want to get mad about it, right? They just want to blurt their shit out and walk off, and
I
I'm
think
not
that
good
there's a
with that.
lack of, there's a lack of emotional intelligence too, as just a community of folks, is when you receive that, how do you receive it? And how do you react and retaliate to that? I've learned a lot over the course of the last few years. I mean, I lost 70 pounds, like just putting it out there. Like I lost 70 pounds. I went on to have a healthy pregnancy, had a baby. I'm now in pursuit of my best self again. And I've dealt with some negative stuff. People are mean. They are mean online. And I have gotten some DMs that are ugly. Like I remember after I had the baby and I was sharing, my openness of my journey, I had gained a lot of weight with my pregnancy. I gained I think like 80 pounds. And part of it was Burger King chicken sandwiches. I'm going to blame it. I'm naming it.
You're
but
claiming
part of
it.
it was I had a lot. I'm claiming it.
Like
Burger
this is
King.
it.
But I also went through the death of my father during my pregnancy, and it was really, really tough. And it came against a lot of habits that I had created. A lot of things spiraled. All that to say is I gained a lot of weight. I'm coming to my journey again, and I get these hater comments, like just a few. And it doesn't need to take a lot. Like it just one or two negative things can really sit there. I got a really negative comment of, how are you supposed to share like people getting healthy with you when you gained 100 pounds? And I was like, oh, I feel that. Like I got it in my DMs, felt it. I was like, that is mean. Oh, what's going on with her? But my first retaliation was not, let's think about what's going on in her world. It was like, I'm going to take off my hoop earrings, like fire it up. But I have learned over the last 5 years that like I'm in control of my reactions, and they get what they get from me based on what I give them. And so I didn't respond to that. And I took that in and I went, how is that kind of true? And if it's not kind of true, how is it false? And I really like dived into that comment, and I reaffirmed what I thought about me, because if it matters what I think about me more than what others do.
Preach. Yes.
And that was not a skill I had before I started getting healthy. A lot of my program works on the mental mindset of reaction. I'm trying to teach my clients to not react to life, and more so take a stand and create their own path based on what they want to do.
Yeah. When the negative comments, we talk about it in the online world, but many of our audience will know that it's in the real world too. Like it's in the 3D, let's just call it a 3D world, right? Not the online world. And it can happen, and the reactions can be the same. It can be a little bit difficult when you're standing face to face with that person, or they're sitting across from you. I've had it all done. To me as an LGBTQ plus person in my business, as in being a therapist for 25 years, and in the online world. And really, when I see those comments, the thing that I do is I read it, and then the majority of the time there is no thought of, is this honest? Like, is this true? Like I can read it, I'll know instantly I can either take it or leave it. And it is the realization that energy is not welcome in my business, in my life. It doesn't need to enter into my mind. Like I don't watch the news. People are like, how can you not watch the news? You won't know what's going on. I was like, oh, believe me, I'll know what's going on if something really hits the fan, right? I'm just going to keep
Yeah.
doing my thing over here. I'm going to know how I'm going to react to that. I'm going to know how I want to be in the world. And I think this goes towards both in a health and wellness journey, because right now I'm 10 pounds heavier than I was probably 4 to 5 months ago. And it's menopause and it's the things, and I'm not going to hate myself for it. I'm going to love myself for it. And I'm just going to work through, because if we start stressing out, we have more cortisol, we have more, all the things that cause
Yeah.
inflammation in the body that are not helpful.
Yeah.
Right. So as we're going to wrap it up here, man, we
Yeah.
could talk about this all day. I feel like you and I have had like a 5-minute conversation. Can I just say that? Like, I feel like it's been so short. It's like, we need more time. We need more time.
Heard a lot. Oh,
But that's what I love about the guests. I mean, the guests I choose for my show are because I want to have a good time, and we have good chemistry and good energy, and they stand for something. So first of all, I'll say thanks so much for being on the show. But
thanks.
in this last few minutes before we end, in general, so we know, like, in a health and wellness space, but someone DMs you and they say, listen, I'm really struggling. I'm tired of seeing this way in the online world, and it makes me feel bad about myself. I look at my friends and they're doing whatever and they get to be happy. I'm putting this in quotation marks for the podcast people.
Yeah.
I want to feel good. I want to be happy. What would you tell them?
I would tell them that the thing at the end that you're seeing them have that you think makes them happy is probably not the thing that's making them happy. I would say that most of my clients come in from a place of, I'm unhappy, I'm uncomfortable, and I want to be happy, and I want to be radiant, I want to be confident. They see that other side as this golden rainbow, like end of pot of gold situation. And the reality is there is no end destination. This is an ongoing path. It's like going to therapy 4 times and being like, I'm cured. Like, it's just not, that's not the
No,
way it works. You have
not
to
if you
work
want
on it.
sustainable, not if you want sustainability.
No, no. And so what I would say is think about in your world what happiness looks like to you. And I tell my clients often, close your eyes and picture yourself in like almost like a movie sense of where
Mhm.
you're at the end destination. How are you feeling? What are you wearing? Who are you with? Like what's going on in your
Mhm.
world? And
Mhm.
then write that down because that's your happy. And
Mhm.
that doesn't have a size gene, that doesn't have a number on the scale.
Mhm.
It's going to be a place that you work towards constantly. And there's
Mhm.
going to be times where stuff challenges it, where it comes
Mhm.
against it. And you've got to keep that person on the other side in alignment with what you're doing day to day, because
Mhm.
it's hard. It's really hard. But if you have a clear vision of where you're going, you find a path. And it might not look like a straight line. It might not look like Susie over there,
Mhm.
but
Well,
it's going to be
hopefully it
your path
won't.
and it's going to be hard earned. Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's like you can't, people want this quick fix. They want to like grab a drug, grab a surgery, grab this.
Yep.
The thing about it is, think about people who win the lottery, right? They get all
Mhm.
this money immediately. They don't know what to do with it. They get
Mhm.
crazy. Like you have to earn your stripes, earn your badges in order to sustain that space that you're in. You have to learn about yourself. And that's hard work. People don't want to do it, but that is the work. That is
It
the thing that you're avoiding
mhm.
doing.
It is the answer. The answer, as you know, I mean, you've watched me long enough. The answer is knowing yourself. The answer is saying,
Yeah.
what does it feel like when it's out of alignment? What does it feel like when it's in alignment? How do I continue to be in alignment? What are the decisions I want to make? Yes, it is hard work. And at the same time, it does get easier in some areas. The more you
Yeah.
know and commit to yourself and are able to have this internal way of being, you're no longer subjected to the external stimulants or triggers that are there. You'll know how to handle them. You'll know how to move
Yeah.
through. Um,
Yeah.
okay, so
It's like
really quick. Oh, go ahead.
oh, go ahead.
No, you go.
No, I was just gonna say people often come to me and they're like, yeah, but what if I gain my weight back? And I always say, if you decide to do this for a short time and then go right back to what you were doing, you absolutely will.
Mm-hmm.
100%. You will. Straight up. But if you commit to changing these habits, learning about yourself and growing, what happens is you don't become perfect. You don't become this spiritual, like above holier person. Like
Yes.
you basically are walking a tightrope for the rest of your life that has a net underneath you. And those nets, the net is your habits. And you'll know when you fall out of alignment with that because that net will catch you because your eyes are awakened to the like who you could be. And when you get caught by that, it's a faster rebound up as opposed
Mm-hmm.
to right now, which is all or nothing. And that's
Mm-hmm.
what's happening in your world. So it's not about, back to your question, what would you tell someone who wants to be happy? Build it
Mm-hmm.
brick by brick, build the life that's going to create that happiness in you and realize that it's not external. It's not going to be a gene size. It's not going to be looking like Jenny over there. It's
Mm-hmm.
going to be attached to your happiness and your goals.
Okay, well, there you have it, my peeps, my beautiful friends out
Boom,
there.
shakalaka.
Yeah. I swear I'm still gonna get what like a a
Right.
foam thing that's microphone that's covered in like rhinestones. Be like, "Poof," there you go. Okay, so really quickly tell everyone how they can reach you if they want to reach out to you, and I'll make sure to put it in the description of the podcast and the YouTube
Yeah.
channel.
I would say probably my Instagram. It's
Okay.
Xtina Struckmeyer. Xtina like the old Christina Aguilera. Yeah, I went
Um,
there.
that's funny.
Xtina Struckmeyer. And then you can also find me by searching Christina Struckmeyer on Facebook. I don't have business accounts, so just friend me and I am
Okay.
open to friends.
All right, my friends, we would love to hear if this has inspired you or empowered you in any way, whether you just are like, I want to improve my life, or I have a health and wellness journey I'm working on, or I'm looking for a health and wellness journey. Make sure to hit up Christina. She is someone who does talk and support her people. And so look her up if that's something you want to explore. All right, my friends, I will end this video like I end every single video. Please make sure to stay true to yourself, be kind to others, and always, always, always honor the wise one that is within all of you. We will see you next on the next road to radical visibility. Until then, bye. Hold up, don't go yet. If this episode inspired you to be 100% yourself 100% of the time, no shame or guilt needed, even just that little bit more, I would love to hear from you in the comments below. I'm here, and I know you are too, to make a positive impact in the world. So don't forget to share the love. And if you were left wanting more of this type of kick-ass content, then don't forget to click the like and subscribe button. Until next time, make sure to stay true and be you. Until then, bye.